Now that I've let these cookies be in the fridge for a little bit, I'm going to transfer them to a freezer bag, stick them in the freezer, and they're gonna be ready to go for future cookie making, future desserts. But I'm gonna have a couple tonight, obviously, while I watch the Grammys. Finished reading over a contract, so we did that. Today was very much so dig into the bookkeeping side of what I do. Not the most fun, but part of the gig. So I've just been hunting, making sure I invoiced properly is another one, inputting receipts, expenses, taxes. Oh, it's just all beautiful stuff. Probably not the most interesting thing for you to hear me talk about, but I don't know where I'm going with that. Even though I love my job and what I do here on YouTube and on social media, of course, with any job that you love, there are things that you aren't going to like as much. Oh my God. Good morning. It feels good to be back on the smoothie game. I always feel like I go in the winter through phases of not wanting to do smoothies because everything's out of season, and even though I'm having frozen fruit, it's not logical, is what I'm basically trying to get at. I just think, oh no, I don't want smoothie time, but we're feeling the drive again. So that means spring is really starting to make its appearance here in the city, which makes me happy. We're doing good things. Might be a little bit inspired by the fact that right now I'm reading a book called Super Gut by William Davis. He is the writer of Wheat Belly, which I didn't read. This one's all about how to reprogram your microbiome, which is basically your gut, and emphasizing why paying attention to gut health is so important because it has a lot of ripple effects to other areas and other problems that you can have in your body. So it goes through things that you should be paying attention to in your diet to promote gut health, good bacteria, bad bacteria. And although I will say some of the stances that this author has on what you should and shouldn't have in your diet don't feel like they'd be right fits for me, but I still find it really interesting to just expose yourself to different POVs in health. Kind of just gets me in a headspace of, well, if I don't, for example, want to go completely off bread of any form, that sounds like a tragic reality for me. If I'm being honest though, I can look at my diet and I do feel like I depend on it maybe a little bit too much. So is there ways I can have alternatives to bread for certain meals or certain instances? That's where I think like the power in reading books like this, books on really anything in the health space, whether it's with food or mental health, self-care, that kind of thing. It's like you just take little tidbits and you try and make small improvements in your life and not beat yourself up for not being perfect. And I think that's a more sustainable approach, especially being met with a lot of information. This book is exposing me to a lot of things about gut health that I never thought about before, never really educated myself too much on. So a fascinating one. I think I'm at the meal plan part of the book, so I think we're coming to the end. So we're doing that. We're doing the smoothie. I'm waiting for groceries to arrive. They should be arriving in the next like 10 minutes. I've been doing a lot of grocery delivery lately, and although they do come at a cost, sometimes you get coupons that waive delivery fees, so it kind of makes things good. What I like it for is it allows me to really shop at places that I normally wouldn't because they're not in my neighborhood. For example, like Costco you don't find Costco's in downtown Toronto, so that's not something that I would normally have access to unless I go home. Or if I want to get some really good deals at Walmart, I can. Oh, my delivery person is here, so must go. I will do a haul though. Okay, here we go. Why do you feel so much lower? Hold on, there's got to be another thing to put you on. Guys, I need to get like a tripod for the kitchen counter because it's a little ridiculous how I have to always balance you on OXO containers. Maybe a can? Little baby? Little salt action? Picked up parchment paper, olives, pineapple tidbits for pizza, 2 taco kits. They were on a deal where if you got 2, you got savings. Strawberries that look mediocre, if I'm being honest with you. Avocado, apples, 2 sweet potatoes, 3 zucchinis. I love a good zucchini. Don't love eggplant at all. Don't know why that's the case, because they're pretty similar in texture, but I cannot stand eggplant. Oh yes, I'm so excited about this. Mango bubbly. I love sparkling water. I've really grown to quite enjoy it. I had a plethora of it in my fridge, and then I drank all of it in the span of a few months, and I haven't had it for a few weeks, and I've noticed that I want. Green beans, cheese, also got eggs, and 2 things of soy milk, unsweetened. I think everyone's kind of feeling the hit of inflation these days, and I think it can, for obvious reasons, make you feel a little bit more pessimistic about the world, a little bit down, especially when you're paying more for essentials. That's why I'm trying to just be smarter with picking sales, choosing the right times to shop at certain places, making more leftover friendly meals, actually using all of the food that I have, not letting things go to waste. When I tell you, Scrub Mommy is my favorite sponge now. Not Scrub Daddy, Scrub Mommy. Notice how we've got the rough part and then a really soft sponge right here. This soft sponge, in addition to feeling just luxurious, also is soft enough for my green pans so I don't scratch them. Look, so gentle. This would be rough, rough, rough. Chip, 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 I would see on the paint. No, 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 I say. And yeah, so I think that if you're looking for a sponge, Scrub Mommy is where it's at, okay? Just wanted to give you that really great life advice. I'll be real with you, today has been a rough one for me. I got my period this morning and have been cramping. You could say it's been cramping my style. I did put on the Mickey crew neck, which is helping. I think a lot of my struggle this morning was the fact that I was really fighting having to take Advil. I was like, no, I can get through it. I did a hot water bottle, I did teas, I did essential oils, I was deep breathing, and then eventually I was like, what am I doing? Like, take an Advil, why are you suffering in pain? So I did, and I do feel a lot better. Energy levels are still low, but there's no pain. That's what I really want to do today. Just lay on this couch. I do think I'm gonna take it easy and maybe rearrange things with work. It's already noon. I'm telling you, the morning I was not good. This is such an improvement. I just went from 0 to 100 in comparison to what it was like when I first woke up this morning. Bless modern medicine for giving us things like ibuprofen. I've concluded that the only thing that's gonna make me truly feel joy today is if I make this recipe of lemon bar toast that I found on TikTok. It's right here. It looks like something that I could potentially really like, and that is enough of a reason for me to pursue this recipe. I love a good lemon loaf action, anything lemony. Big fan. So hopefully this turns out good, but not too good, because that would be a problem because I would have access to a recipe that I could make way too easily because this looks very simple. Mickey is super excited for the lemon toast as well.
You'll need about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice.
Oh man, my hands smell so good right now. Oh, wow. Okay, what's next, girl?
A tablespoon of plant butter.
Bon dia.
Bon dia. How's it?
Not great, but...
Not great. I saw the water bottle, so I'm like, that can't be awesome.
Yeah. if I'm being honest with you, about 2 hours ago, I was crying. So that's fun. I think what I was crying about was pretty legitimate in the sense that I started thinking about the future and overthinking, I guess, the answers that you think that you need to have right now that I don't have right now. You know, when you think that you should know certain things about what direction you're going, where you're heading, and you don't have those answers because life can't always give you those answers. Sometimes you're just gonna have to see where things end up. I just think I was getting a little too fixated on that. But I do believe that the hormones of me being on my period made me cry because normally I don't get that weighed down by kind of thoughts like that. But wow, it's been a day. So I concluded that I needed some rest time on the couch. Currently have a hot water bottle attached to my back. I've got my second or third tea of the day. This is like a sleepy time blend. Had a little bit of computer time, getting some work done, and then, or now I have New Girl on for the millionth time. Although I feel like out of all the shows that I've rewatched, it's probably the one that I haven't consumed completely in its entirety, even though I have watched the whole series. I remember when I first watched the series through, which was only like a couple years ago, I wasn't always watching it closely. So like, for example, I just watched an episode where I had zero memories of it. So it's kind of fun because even though I'm rewatching it, there is still some of those that are fresh. So it's kind of a nice change up from rewatching Seinfeld for the millionth time. Seinfeld was like my go-to rewatch for the past few months. I personally like rewatching shows because I'm a reader. So right now, if I want to pick up a book, I can read it and not get distracted by the TV, but I still have something in the background. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm just wanting some cozy time on the couch. Tomorrow I'll be a lot better, I know that. But alas, I'm just trying to listen to my body and give myself a beat, because I clearly need it. Cheers, I will see you tomorrow in a much better mood. Woo, those vibes yesterday were not it. Apologies for putting you through that. I feel like a new woman today. Put on a fun outfit. Got an avocado that's perfectly soft enough to start eating. So I think it's gonna be smooth sailing from here. A good day it shall be. I am correct. Do. Squish her out of there. I don't like that description. Perfect avocado. Yummy. The next test is, can she get no shell in the pan? 1 for 1. Can we make it 2 for 2? Oh, what a day it is. As I was getting ready this morning, I had a memory pop back up from childhood from Easter, because Easter, fun fact, is how I found out that the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy had special assistants to get the jobs done. And the way I found that out was because during Easter, you have all those plastic eggs being sold. And I forget what age I was, but we were at Zellers. If you're Canadian, you remember Zellers. RIP. I remember looking at my mom, just being like, Mom, like, why do they sell all these plastic eggs all the time if the Easter Bunny is the one who does the hunt? Like, what do people need to buy these plastic eggs for? The look that my mom gave me, never forget it. The instant reality check that I had. My brain was awakened to the realities of the world. I never looked at a plastic Easter egg the same way again. Avocado. Avocado. Oh, yesterday I did lemon toast. Now I'm doing avocado toast. Didn't I just talk about in this video how I'm gonna make an effort to look for alternatives to bread?
Is there ways I can have alternatives to bread for certain meals or certain instances?
Not to brag, but I think we are in a good spot here. Oh, this is very difficult to do on camera. Woo! There, she did it. I didn't believe in myself, but sometimes you don't need to, apparently. Okay, I need more pepper. Honestly, they should just make me the spokesperson for this sauce. It's ridiculous how much I love it. I also need to move you now because you're on my salt. I'm very gentle with how many I use because I don't like using a ton of salt, but this is so fancy. How can I not? And there we go. Me and my brunch. just gonna have a good time together. I like to usually watch some YouTube videos. Currently in a big financial market, economic news type of vibe, which is, don't get me wrong, incredibly boring, but have been finding that interesting. Oh yeah, floor time. I always find this such a grounding experience, not just because we are on the ground, but well, maybe that is why. I want to talk to you about one particular book that I picked up recently that I haven't talked to you guys about on the channel yet, but I think is so special. But before I share that, 2 products that I got over the last couple days. Sugar wax. The seasons is changing and I feel like I need to have this on hand ready to go. I like to do like an initial wax sometimes of my legs. Last year I did my arm. I have like very dark arm hair, which is totally fine. That's the European Portuguese background in me that gives me my nice hairy arms. I did 1 wax of them last year in the summer and I quite enjoyed it. So I think I might try that again this year. I don't know, but this is a really good kit. I'm about to run out of my moisturizer, so I also picked up CeraVe's facial moisturizing lotion with SPF 30 for normal to oily skin. I wanted something with SPF because again, I'm going to be spending a lot more time outdoors as the weather gets better. Although SPF should be part of your skincare routine throughout the year, but I think particularly during the summer, if you're gonna spend lots of time outside, extra important. Now the book that I want to share with you is actually linked to this coffee table book that I have. It's called In the Company of Women by Grace Bonney, and it profiles a ton of different women in creative fields. I think it's creative fields, yeah. Makers, artists, and entrepreneurs. So I guess also business women, but business can be very creative too. So very creative people, got gorgeous photography and stories and little interviews, and it's just a really beautiful book that celebrates women doing awesome things. So when I was at the bookstore a couple weeks ago, I noticed that there's a new edition that is called Collective Wisdom. So this is the original, this is the newer one, and this book focuses on women over 50. Lessons, inspirations, and advice. And this book I adore. Again, it has that signature stunning photography. I mean, look how gorgeous that is. And I just love that this is a book that celebrates women aging. I feel like that is so seldomly done. There's always such an emphasis when it comes to aging on making yourself look as young as possible. I think that contributes to this almost fear of aging, or this reluctance to age, when it's like we should be excited to get older and wiser, and you know, this is a book that I think, like I said, celebrates that. It's bringing to light pieces of advice people have that they've learned over the years. It's sharing their stories. It's showing just how beautiful a fully lived life is, and I think that is the kind of energy I want in my home. So I now have both of these just plopped on my sideboard here, and whenever I have a moment, I like to open them up. I actually consulted this one a lot during my Plan With Me planning sessions, my pre-planning sessions, when I try and figure out what I want the spreads or the themes of the spreads to be. I feel like this one always kind of gave me some interesting ideas, whether it was visually or just reading some of the words that the women had to say. This is a very welcomed addition to my collection. I'll have both linked down below. And that actually kind of makes me want to bring it back to that point that I was talking about the night that I had my period, and I was like, oh, I was fixating on the future and these questions I don't have answers to and blah, blah, blah. Because I think I brushed it off as something that's just, oh, my hormones just getting the best of me. But yeah, that's a legitimate question that comes up, especially since turning 25, because again, with aging, you have these perceptions of timelines that you need to hit, and it can be scary too when you don't have certainty. I had a whole conversation with a friend of mine a couple weeks ago about this too. I think it's a really weird time, 25, because you're settling into life post-school. And then add on the fact that the pandemic happened, and I felt like a couple years where life was very stagnant because of the world kind of going on pause, combined with just normal navigating your mid-20s season of life, it just can bring up a lot of big emotions. So anyways, I just wanted to bring it back to that moment and emphasize that that's a very normal feeling, because sometimes you think like everyone else has their life figured out. You might be looking at my videos thinking Caitlin knows all the things, and that's just not the truth. I have big question marks all the time, and that's okay. That's part of the fun of life. Oh my goodness, I don't want to be someone who ever wants to spoil the end of the story before actually reading all the chapters. You know, as a reader, that would be heartbreaking. So why in life do we put so much pressure on us to have those answers before actually living it, right? Oh, I love that analogy. On that beautiful note, I'm gonna close off these few pages in my current chapter by saying, peace out. Go have a relaxing night, day, whatever it is. Go do something for you that you really need. Address a need on your to-do list, your personal to-do list. Looking like it's gonna be a rainy night in the city because the clouds have overtaken this clip. So cozy night in for me. Reading Those Three Little Words by Megan Quinn on the e-reader. All links down below. I gotta go add some water to my fragrant soup over there. I hope you have a good one, everyone. I gotta go fill this thing up because